Marvel Studios' Ekko is officially here. In this video, I'm going to review the first 3 episodes of the series, no spoilers at all. Just my general thoughts, reaction, and feelings on what we see. So without doubt, for multiple reasons, this is the riskiest thing that Marvel Studios has ever produced. For one, Ekko is probably the least popular character and least known character that they've attempted to do anything with in terms of a standalone project. When you add characters like the Guardians and even Ant-Man, they are so many leagues above and more popular than Ekko that it's quite shocking that this is an actual character that got a series. Now, with that said, going into it, there was obviously a lot of people that are not excited for this. 1, they don't like representation. 2, they don't like wokeness. 3, they just don't care about this character. And honestly, they didn't like what Marvel Studios was doing as a whole after Endgame. So this series and this character has an uphill battle. And I think Marvel Studios knew that. And when they went into this, they tackled every single complaint that everybody had. First and foremost, the character of Ekko, I've always been a fan of. Ever since she showed up in the comics, I like the character. I like her story. Now, I'm not spoiling anything in here, and there are elements of her story from the comics that are perfectly captured here. There's also changes. But mind you, I am talking about only the first 3 episodes here, so maybe things change in the last 2. I'll come back and talk about it more. But overall, the changes that they made, I like them and appreciate them because they add a new element and layer to Ekko, much like most of the MCU does. At the same time, they take a couple of things that we know and love from the Netflix series, and we can now officially say, yeah, it's in continuity and canon, and we very much get that Wilson Fisk back. This Fisk is unhinged. He's way more Netflix than Hawkeye, and I think that's important here for a lot of reasons that I don't want to spoil. You just got to watch it for yourself, or maybe you have already. But the big takeaway here for me is just how different Ekko is in every sense of the word to anything Marvel Studios has done. I want to say that everybody at the MCU grew balls when it came to this series. It is unapologetically the anti-MCU project, and I mean that in the best way possible. For all the people that complain about this feels like MCU, or this is too much like this, or I don't like this shtick, or I don't like how they're doing this, and this is formulaic, this spits in the face of all of that, and really tries to do something completely different. Now, going into this, there was concerns, and the early initial feeling was that it's a little rushed, that it does have pacing issues, and I will agree that that is probably the biggest complaint I have with the first 3 episodes. Pacing issues are an actual issue, but they do not in any way ruin the series for me at all. If the biggest complaint I have is a pacing issue, guess what? Welcome to Loki Season 1, Loki Season 2, What If, WandaVision, and just about everything else, because all of them had some pacing issues. And what I really love about this is that unlike many of the other series where it's like, hey, who's gonna be the villain? We're keeping a secret, there's a mystery here. There's none of that here. Okay, maybe there's a little bit, again, I don't want to spoil it, but you know who the villain is. You know who the hero is, you know whose story it is, you know the cameo to expect. Maybe a couple you don't. I don't know, I'm not spoiling anything, but it does everything that the MCU has not done because of certain expectations. You can tell that the Marvel Spotlight banner exists for projects like this and why they're going fully into it. It is truly, in my opinion, a breath of fresh air in Marvel. I think that if people have been burnt out by the MCU, if they tune into this, they might legitimately rekindle their love for the franchise because we got more content like this coming. This, to me, if the last 2 episodes can nail it, is absolutely gonna be a standout among the last couple of years of the MCU, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up in the conversation of unexpected top-tier MCU project. The first 3 episodes are great. I need to go back and watch the other two right now, because it was painful to put those episodes down and go record this. All I want to do is watch more. And that's the sign of quality.